Thank you for selecting Most Loved Wrestling, the place where wrestling is most loved. This week on SmackDown, really felt like nothing substantial happened, which is the polar opposite of Raw, where everything happens. But either way, there is always somebody who outshines the rest of the field, so I still gotta call 5 superstars the MVPs. But before I do so, could I get you to like this video, subscribe to my bullshit, and hit the notification bell. It helps with the algorithm, so if you like what I'm doing and believe that the world deserves to bear witness, then this is how you can make it happen. Now, this is a wrestling show, so as always, we're gonna start with the matches. Logan tries to interfere and put his brass knuckles to use, but LA Knight says nana, and still serves Santos Escobar a little blunt force trauma. The Bloodline survive tag team turmoil, Michin gets jumped early, and Nia Jax annihilates Bayley to win the tag team main event. Other developments, Tangaloa is in an eye patch because he got gouged last week. So Aldis is ready to pull the Bloodline from tag team turmoil. But Solo Sikoa says, that's not gonna work for me, brother. And he requests that Jacob Fatu takes Tangaloa's place in tag team turmoil. Nick Aldis agrees. Jacob Fatu then defies all forms of logic in the tag team turmoil to win that match, making the Bloodline the #1 contenders for the tag team championships next week on SmackDown. Cody Rhodes calls them the doppelganger Bloodline. He says they've got no real leadership and no one to control them. He calls them chaotic, and he says in that chaos, he lost his 2 friends and now he stands alone. He refers back to the time where he said that Solo Sikoa was not ready, and says that today is not so sure that that's the case. And he requests that they meet face to face, 1-to-1 next week. Solo accepts Cody Rhodes' offer. He says that in one weekend, the Bloodline will handle all Bloodline business, taking the tag team championships and taking back the WWE Undisputed Championship. And if Roman Reigns has a problem with that, then he knows where to find him, so he can end up like Randy Orton, Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes and acknowledge him. Logan Paul tries jumping after the match and he starts to get worked, but Santos backs the beef and serves up LA Knight to Logan Paul. Logan Paul got a phone call from Mr. Cleveland himself, saying that he should expect a proper homecoming next week. Naomi got some new merch, and she vows not only to make Blair Davenport feel the glow, but she's gonna make her respect it. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair get jumped by the witches from behind, which tells me they've got a little bit of common sense at least. Why on earth would you walk down the rampway to run a fade with Jade and Bianca? Unless your name is Damage Control or Nia Jax. It doesn't work anyway, they still get that work. Terrence Bud Crawford endorses the Street Profits to win tag team turmoil. Shortly after, he's called out by A-Town Down Under because he gave Cody Rhodes the steel chair last week. So best believe they only called this man out just for Austin Theory to get one-shotted. Next week we've got 2 matches booked. We've got the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships on the line. Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, the Unholy Union, defend against Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. And Champions DIY defend against the Bloodlines Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. And most importantly, the homecoming of Logan Paul. My thoughts on the show, as I said earlier, nothing happened on this show, which is fine, because whilst nothing happened, it was definitely inoffensive. It wasn't a bad show by any means. This so-called proper Cleveland homecoming is just going to result in LA Knight popping out of a box or something like that, like The Undertaker and Brother Love, or more recently, Sting and The Authority. Hopefully next week we get Jade and Bianca taking back the tag team titles and re-elevating them. Now let's be honest, the tag team titles has lost everything that Jade and Bianca put into them since Clash. Giving the tag team titles to the Unholy Union in their hometown was definitely the right thing to do, especially considering the tragedy that Alba Fire just went through. Clips can scream till he's blue in the face that it wasn't because of that. Of course he's going to say that, it's his job to say that, but the fact that you had nothing for them tells me otherwise. So let's just get back on track now. A-Town Down Under's breakup is taking a little long. Austin Theory is losing all that momentum that he gained from it when they was beefing with DIY, but I get it, there's a lot of stories in the mid-card of SmackDown, so they're having a little bit of difficulty trying to pay them all off. So hopefully he can make the turn to babyface shortly after SummerSlam. That way he can make his way to Bad Blood in his hometown as the babyface. Let's be real, how many more times is Grayson Waller gonna lob this man's health up for another superstar just to come and dunk it? Still no goddamn pimped out briefcase. But Nia Jax did say that she was gonna get a new one, which is just perfect for Tiffany Stratton, so we can rest assured I've got no major thoughts on the major plot of SmackDown. I'm just gonna say Jacob Fatu is a fucking savage. They're gonna absolutely crush DIY next week, and Roman's definitely returning at SummerSlam. Solo Sikoa is talking way too crazy. He needs to return with Jimmy though, for Jimmy's sake. It also helps make sense with the numbers. You know, Roman coming and clearing the ring of the Bloodline all on his own. I mean, that's all well and good, but really, Jacob Fatu, the way he's built, and then he's got 3 other goons with him, be serious. Make it look good, keep the Bloodline strong, make him come back with Jimmy, probably the wise man too. That way you keep the Bloodline looking credible in this moment, which is going to be monumental. And then when Jimmy returns, it's not just some passing thing like, okay, Jimmy's here, well, he's a good addition. Because it's not only just going to be a case of Roman returned at SummerSlam, it's then a case of the original Bloodline returns at SummerSlam. And I've got a guilty pleasure. People, don't hate me, don't unsubscribe. I like Tangaloa, that's my dude right there, bro. I'm not gonna lie, he's entertaining, and I don't think he means to be, but that's the best way. Them people that don't know they're funny are the funniest niggas ever, I'm telling you. But now time for the MVPs. SmackDown made it real easy, let's get into it. In 5th place, I'm gonna go with the Street Profits. They were the workhorses of tag team turmoil. they was just on go. They done everything in that match which you would think they would do, and then being backstage with Terence Bud Crawford, that's a good endorsement. Good shit. In 4th place, I'm gonna go with Logan Paul. He tried to use the brass knucks, got packed. He tried to jump a man after the match and got packed. I mean, it really sounds like I should be putting LA Knight here instead because of all the piping hot ass whoopings he was serving up all night. But of course, Logan Paul gets help from Santos Escobar because Santos Escobar cannot accept taking L's. Someone needs to grow up. Logan Paul did deliver his picture-perfect frog splash, and he does have his homecoming prepared for next week. In 3rd place, I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes. He didn't appear physically, and he said it without saying it. He does kind of acknowledge Solo Sikoa, and he called him out next week for a 1-to-1. Sometimes it's not always the biggest things that are the most effective. Cody Rhodes acknowledging the past and saying that, you know what, I told this man previously that he's not ready, and today, that might not be the case anymore. That's quite big for Solo Sikoa's character development. In 2nd place, I'm going with Solo Sikoa. I mean, it's real simple. He keeps talking crazy about Roman Reigns, and I'm still not used to it, you know. I keep acting like it's the first time he did it, and the dark room is sick. I dig that dark room. I'm telling you, people don't want to admit it, but Solo is building up that aura. And in 1st place, I'm going to go with Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu is an absolute weapon. Jacob Fatu does not need aura. Aura needs Jacob Fatu. He shouldn't even be moving like this, at those kind of sizes. He looked like the Terminator in Tag Team Turmoil, and DIY are well and truly screwed next week. And you have to deep it. Jacob Fatu is the thing that keeps this new bloodline alive, you know. Not that Solo hasn't done a great job, because he definitely has, but the real presence in the bloodline right now, that does come from Jacob Fatu. But congratulations to Jacob Fatu for being the MVP of SmackDown. But that's all I've got for you today. Thank you for listening to my bullshit. Don't forget to leave a like, remember to subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comment section down below.